I don't like situationships though. Yeah. When we're so unsure of what's going on that we don't know how to communicate that not only to others but within ourselves, I think that that's like some weird kind of purgatory that I don't know why culturally we're accepting.
Intimacy expert Shan Boodram on the BG Show. How you doing, my
I'm doing
friend?
excellent. As if you were weird to say sex expert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to go right into it?
No, I love intimacy. I'm just joking. I'm just making reference to the fact that I've got a small person on my side. So.
I mean, you created her.
Yes, yeah. That way.
Can I touch it?
Yes, you can touch it.
Introduce yourself. What's your name?
My name is Ryo.
You gotta get closer to the mic.
What's your name? Say.
I don't want it.
Okay, I got you.
Okay.
I respect it. She is really a professional at boundaries. It's one of her true gifts. She's not going to do a single thing she does not feel like doing.
Well, I can already tell she's so comfortable in herself.
Yes.
I feel like that's probably a recipe to success for a successful relationship.
Well, especially in our field. So, right. I hope she's the next generation of me, but who knows?
You have so much going on. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud to see all your success.
Oh my goodness, thank you. It's so special to have people from your hometown say that. There's something different about it.
Yeah, does it feel like that?
I guess because we all know what opportunities and what obstacles are in front of us, so there's something really special.
Yeah. I'm gonna go a little off topic here, but I wonder, like, how do you balance work and being a mom and all those things?
Oh man, you don't.
Yeah, you're gonna.
I got to say it.
You do the best that you can with the time that you have,
we,
and then
we can do that, mommy.
yeah, we can do that.
You're so patient.
Let's see how long that lasts for. Yeah, it's hard, man. It's really hard.
That requires a lot of patience.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Do you ever like have moments where you're like, I can't do this?
No, I think I'm just like, again, kind of going back to just being more generally empathetic, which is just a great trend, just to kind of look for the humanness in everybody.
Yeah.
So I totally get it from her perspective,
Yeah.
right? She wants to hang out with her mom.
Yeah.
And
well, her mom's pretty cool.
her mom's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I was away for a day, and we're in a new city. She's away from her dad. Like, it's a lot strange and new for her, so she's gonna give me some space and grace, but she has limitations, and her like ability to reason is low too. So it's like 5 extra seconds to be like, okay, what is it like from their perspective? And one of the things I think we're tempted to do as parents a lot is like, you're fine, stop crying, nothing's wrong, and you're like, well, no, something genuinely is wrong. Maybe not, the market didn't crash and she's not responding to losing $100,000. But in her mind, her parent figure going out of sight in a strange place is like equivalent to that. So try and think about it a little bit.
It's a real situation.
Right?
Speaking of situation, I mean, there are so many people in situationships, not calling you out or putting you guys on blast, but...
I don't like situationships, though. I can respect a relationship that's going through iffy stage, but we're still committed, we're still in there.
Yes, 100%.
When we're so unsure of what's going on that we don't know how to communicate that not only to others but within ourselves, I think that that's like some weird kind of purgatory that I don't know why culturally we're accepting.
So why do you think the culture is accepting it?
Because it's easy to be iffy, right? I mean, you get the benefits. Like if you're working somewhere and you're not really quite sure what your role is, it's easier for your boss to take advantage of you. Like they can assign you more, they can ask you to come in more hours because you don't technically know, am I part-time, am I full-time, am I an intern, or am I an executive, and am I an employee? So when you don't have clarity around the roles, it's hard to put rules in place.
Right.
So people can swim between various different commitment structures, all without committing to somebody.
Some people might feel comfortable in that particular situation because maybe that's where they actually want to be.
I think that's the person who's getting the most by giving the least. I think in a situationship, there's always one person who's like, okay, the unclarity is not really allowing me to categorize this relationship successfully and exist within it successfully. And a big part of relationships isn't always about who you're with, it's who you get to be when you're with that person. And not everybody thrives in unclarity. If anything, they might make them more anxious, more avoidant sometimes, more apprehensive, less likely to enjoy themselves, and then as a result, less likely to be the best parts of who they are. The funny, the relaxed, the goofy, the cool, the innovative, the creative, like all those things get stifled because you're taking up mental space trying to figure out like, what is your role, where are your boundaries, and how can you show up, and what can you expect the other person to show up as in return. So some people might be fine, like, oh yeah, free love, hippie, and like that lack of clarity is a good position for them. But I think it's rare that there's two people who are like that, who are like, I have no interest. Because I also think that relationships are social structures too. And there's a benefit to being in a relationship. There should be, right? It should change people's perspective of you. It changes how people interact with you. And so if I can't explain to somebody, even if it's a good situationship, if you ask me like, what is going on? I'm like, it's complicated. Your judge of me is like, oh, she's in some kind of, whatever assumptions. There's usually not like, they're both free-spirited and cool. Yeah. So other, harmful labels get put on me as a result of the ambiguity of the connection.
So for the person who might be getting the short end of the stick in a situationship and they potentially want to get out of it, maybe they want something more, or maybe they don't. How does that conversation, or how should that conversation unfold?
I feel like call it what it is today.
Okay.
Right? And that's all right. Are you and I friends?
Yes.
Maybe.
We're becoming friends.
We're becoming friends.
That's yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm comfortable saying that.
Yeah.
I met you 3 times, once online.
100%, yeah.
It's always been in a working environment.
100%.
So
we haven't had a drink yet.
Right. Most of the time that we're together, I talk. Yeah. You listen. It's a great relationship on my end, of course, but no, this isn't a genuine connection. There's things I don't, and you're limited in what you can talk to me.
Sorry. Come through with it.
We can call it what it is today, right? We're colleagues who have a good friend-like rapport.
Yeah.
We're not friends.
Yeah.
We can work towards that if you're interested.
I want to be your friend. I really want to be your friend.
Well, you're that person in a situationship who wants more. I can't offer it to you right now. But yeah.
She has kids, she has a partner, she already has best friends. She is full. There's no more room.
But it just, then you can say when you meet someone in the street, oh, you and Shan, are you guys friends? No, we're cool. We're getting to know each other.
Yeah, and be confident in what that is too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say it with your chest.
Yeah. We are slowly becoming friends.
Hey, Dana. How's your mom doing?
Hey, she's great, thanks.
Tell her I say hi.
I will.
I want to talk about your summer of kindness because
yes.
I'm already feeling clearly the kindness. Like I haven't smiled like this in a pretty long time. So thank you for this amazing energy.
Oh my goodness.
Talk to me about what is it? What is this campaign?
I think it's like, some of the trends before have just been like, catch a cheater early, catch red flags early, catch this, look out for that. And those are important to have. Yeah. And sometimes what happens is an overcorrection, right? So if we're dating naively and not being body language, what are you? Body language aficionado? Body linguists. Yeah. Like we're not leaning into what our genuine strengths are. If you know that you're a good judge of character, you're a very intuitive person, you can pick up on people's energy. Those are your gifts. Let your gifts be gifts. You don't have to exhaust them wherein you're not even giving space for curiosity because you're like, well, I know because their legs are crossed and they're this. So I think people were so afraid of wasting time before, but it's never a waste of time to be kind. Even if it doesn't go anywhere, even if nothing comes of it, like I benefited and you benefited from us having a kind exchange. So that's what the Summer of Kindness is all about. Oh. There's a difference between being a people pleaser and having a character that's pleasing to people. And that's what kindness is.
Yes. Are you challenging everybody to be kind this summer?
Yes. I'm not saying, I think some people can interpret that as like, be nice to everyone, give everyone a shot. But you can still have boundaries in a kind way. You can break up in a kind way. I think it's like letting go of things like ghosting and the justification of ghosting. Instead, like holding ourselves accountable to just having positive exchanges with people, whether or not we deem them of being positive. Like everybody is deserving of kindness. So that's what this summer is about.
Yeah, I think, people are so on edge. You just walk down the street, you can feel it. So a nice little smile or, paying it forward, like that would probably go a long way.
I do kind of feel like that, actually. You know what? As a Torontonian who hasn't been here for a while, I haven't been here since the pandemic, I do feel like what's in it for me energy here that I didn't really feel before.
It's a culture shift that's happening.
And that's draining to even be that person who wants that. You know what I mean? To be in need all day long or trying to take and get. Like, so doing yourself a favor and just being like, I'm just going to let it flows to me what flows to me. I'm going to be kind. I'm going to show up as my best, most authentic self. I'm going to lead with my gifts. I'm going to talk about things that excite me. And that's it. That's the bar.
Queen Shan saving the city. One relationship and one person at a time. I also want to talk about like open casting, new year, new men. New year, new men.
New year, new men.
New year, new woman. New year, new women.
Right? I mean, everybody.
Our New Year, them. New year, they.
Let's just stick with New Year, new men. I appreciate all the remixes, but so during the pandemic, I think a lot of women in particular can attest to the fact they spent a lot of time reevaluating themselves, reevaluating their priorities. Boundaries became a massive buzzword coming out of that. People realized, like, okay, well, all these things that I thought were non-negotiables were negotiable before. So anyway, so that's to say, I think a lot of women assume that this was like a very femme process, but it wasn't. It was masculine as well. And so Bumble found through their survey that over 70% of men during the pandemic reimagined masculinity for themselves, thought about masculinity, identified what they felt was toxic within the tropes of masculinity, and made new choices for themselves and how they show up, not just in dating, but in the world. I think that that was one of the big trends that came out of the pandemic, was that self-exploration, and that showed up by changing the dating market in really huge ways. Another huge way it changed the dating market is through, I think people were more rigid before in who they would consider dating. But now there's something called open casting, where just under half of people are like, I actually don't care. I just want to meet great people who are kind, who I have good connections with. They don't have to be this tall, make this amount of money, live in this city. People are more open to dating outside of the city. All of those rules are out of the door. It's less about who you are and more about how you make me feel.
But then there are some people who will say the physical still needs to be there.
Yeah, but I think that once you kind of acknowledge that beauty is political, and a lot of what you think is your type is what has been culturally fed to you. It's what's on your homepage when you go to redtube.com, right? Like when you start acknowledging those influences and being mindful of them and choosing different influences that might be, one, more aligned with who you are, so you can find yourself beautiful, and two, more diverse, you might find that your type is something that is completely different than what you thought it was, than what was fed to you.
Can I do a speed round with you?
Yes, please.
Okay, so it's gonna be a speed round. It's called red flag versus green flag. I'm gonna just push out a scenario, and you tell me if it's a red flag or a green flag. Ready?
Yes.
Timer. Already.
It's my personal red flags or green flags.
Yes.
There's no right or wrong way for everyone.
All right. Disclaimer. All right. Red flag versus green flag. Number one is always late.
Green flag. I'm always late, so I have so much grace for that.
Okay.
And I'm going to be late, so you better be late too, because if you're on time, you stress me out.
Okay, I like that. That is so relatable. You'll know if it's relatable because I'll be like, yes. Number two, constantly brings up the past.
For me, that's a red flag. I like to move forward. But some people love living in the past, so you can find your tribe there.
Okay, number three, you can have difficult convos about your relationship with them.
Green flag. Who would red flag that? Whoever red flag that, red flag that.
Facts. They aren't afraid to apologize.
Oh, green flag. I apologize all day long, all the time. Apologizing is free. It's a superpower.
Alrighty.
Superpower.
What about this one? They have consistent communication with their exes.
I think it's kind of a green flag.
What? Why?
Because at least that person wants you around. You know what I mean? When I meet somebody, their exes don't talk to them, all their exes hate them, they hate their exes, I'm like, those are people that you shared intimate history with, important details of your life, and now y'all can't stand each other? Consistently?
Yeah.
It's you, baby. So you got to have some. Like, I got some, at least consistent, I guess, is probably the tricky word there. You should be in good standing with your exes. I think that's a real green flag. Consistent communication with multiple exes is fine. With its one ex, that probably is indicative of like there still being a tie there.
Okay.
I actually have one ex that's from Toronto who I was really bad terms with that I've been praying to bump into.
Yeah.
Just so I can be like, let's just be people. Let's let it. I can't call them. Like it's that like you know.
Do you want to talk to them right now?
Hey, if you're out there, I would love to bump into you and just say like that was a interesting time that we shared together. And my experiences and interpretations at the time have been very negative. I've reflected on them, and it was negative, but it doesn't mean that I still hold grudges against you.
Yeah.
I grew from it. I learned from it. Thanks.
I love that for you.
Thanks.
Yes.
I don't want to, do dinner or anything, but
Yeah.
if I saw you on the street, I'd be like,
Yeah.
it's all vibes.
Do you think we can get a name drop?
No.
Okay, 10-4. I had to ask. Okay, what about this one? They don't ever plan anything for you, even though you've told them that planning means a lot to you.
Yeah, it's a red flag.
It's interesting because I feel like when people do identify red flags, the ultimate reaction nowadays is like exit, like find the exit. Is that what people should do, or should they kind of work through it?
I think.
And how do you decipher which one you should be doing?
You probably have some red flags, like some non-negotiables.
Like me myself?
Well, everybody. I think there's a difference between red flags or like, like, hey, proceed with caution.
Right.
Slow down.
Yeah.
Take stock or stop. Right?
Right.
Doesn't mean stop communicating, but we're stopping advancing. Like when you see a red flag at a beach, like don't go past this point.
Facts.
Until the water's calmer.
Right.
Stay right here, baby.
Yeah.
You ain't got to leave, but so I think it's more so that. But there's definitely non-negotiables, and those are different than red flags. There are certain things out of a partner that if I spot or if they don't have immediately, that's not a red flag. That's a like check, please. What are some of your check, pleases?
Well, I mean, like for me, I like honesty. I like transparency. I feel like in this business in particular, where life is so public, some parts of your life, and it does come with a bit of clout, a bit of notoriety and stuff like that. People can come into your life for plenty of reasons. Genuinely, sometimes people have other motivations or ambitions, and so deciphering that can sometimes be a little bit difficult.
So that's a red flag. So if somebody, what does they?
It's not transparent. You know what I mean? Like it is not an effective communicator.
Yeah. I'll just say this because I'm defending myself right now.
Okay, come through.
When I met my husband,
Yeah.
I lied about my age. But
did you say you were older or younger?
I said I was younger.
Why did you do that?
Because I didn't feel like I lived up to what a 30-year-old should be. He didn't know my real age until we lived together.
What?
Yeah.
And how long was that into the relationship?
Maybe like a year or so. Yeah.
For real?
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't. I had to like drop it in the most casual way. But it wasn't like out of maliciousness. It
Yeah.
was just like I didn't feel like I was still living in a studio apartment. I was in flux with my immigration because I'm from Canada. I lived in America. I just couldn't afford to do a lot. And I just didn't feel like a 30-year-old woman. So the lie wasn't coming out of a place of mischief or dishearteningship. And it wasn't coming out. I think expectations of society and where I felt I fit in line. I felt if I introduced myself as 28, then people would look at me with just more
grace?
Yes.
So how did he receive that once you revealed?
Oh, it's funny because at the time I had to play it off like I always said my age was that. But later I admitted, I was like, no, because it was like, I think we were going on a trip. I'm like, he's going to see my passport. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
So I think I just dropped it like, oh yeah, something like, oh, my 31st birthday's coming up. And he was like, what? You're what?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. What did you think I was?
So you played that off like a smooth criminal.
I played it off like a gaslighter, like a manipulative gaslighter.
So, I mean, like, as a guy, like, if I was your now, partner, which I'm not, but, like,
Right.
if I'm going to walk in his shoes, would that be a red flag, green flag, or a beige flag?
It probably should be a red flag of like, okay, well, this is a long time to conceal a pretty important bit of data about yourself. I would ask, I'm saying that would give me cause to ask more.
Right.
I just wouldn't immediately discount somebody because they made that lie.
I mean, I'm trying to understand and relate to that. I think certain people, like, for me personally, like, I need, like, truth always.
Yeah.
But I'm not everybody.
Yeah.
And I think part of, like, growth is allowing the opportunity to allow for grace in those type of situations.
Well, I do honor that too, because based on whatever your history is or traumas or particular triggers, you just may not have the space to manage somebody who can't show up as their authentic self right now. And that ripples in other areas. In my particular case, it was like a short-term thing. I obviously pulled my life together and I'm okay with
Glory be to God.
Yeah, I pulled it together. So I do think that sometimes there are like short-term, things that people of inauthentic expressions that they go through. But I guess that little bit of curiosity helps. And sometimes you can understand and still say it's not for me. And that's something very different too of like, I completely get why you lied. I understand. I get it. Yeah, this world can be really hard on us. Ageism is a real thing. Unfortunately for me, this makes it really cloudy for me to really know what's true and what's not with you. And I already have a lot of work to do on myself right now. I just can't go on this journey with you. But thank you for sharing that with me. And that's cool too.
You are such a great, effective communicator.
I'd hope so. It just broke up with myself.
Damn.
Yeah.
For real.
Love that for you, sis.
Yes.
Over there.
Living your best life quietly over there.
What specifically would have bothered you? You mind if I ask that?
When someone asked you,
what TV show you want to go on next, and you said The Bachelor. And then
junk.
they said, aren't you in a relationship? And you said, when it's over. That was like, okay, well, I now look like an idiot.
Lover and Friends, I want to talk about your podcast as well. Like, people can watch and listen.
Yes.
Tell us where.
Everywhere they listen to their podcasts, or wherever they're listening right now, probably wherever they're watching right now, unless it's specifically on your site, then no, you can't.
Yeah.
But YouTube, it's on there, but Apple, Spotify, all the good stuff.
Yeah. And I hate this question, but I always ask it anyways. But what's next for you?
Oh, you know what? In all honesty, maybe not working.
Yeah.
Maybe. That might be my next. That's like my, like...
I love that for you.
That's a reveal.
Okay.
But I think for a little bit, I mean, it's just figuring out the life and kids thing. It's just... And everything is finite, right? It's not forever. They're not going to be this small forever.
Yeah.
But I might take some time just to be with the small people.
I love that.
Maybe.
Well, motherhood looks good on you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Also, I'll definitely go to season 2 of the Marriage Pact when they ask me to, and I'll be with Bumble for the rest of my life. So let's make that clear.
All right. Bags on bags on bags. Falling from the sky. Watch them all fall out. Yes. Thank you so much, Chef, for coming on the show. Honestly, we love you.
I adore you too. I didn't want to say I love you too because I'm not there yet.
And you know what? And we're living in the now. Hey, it's BG, and I want to know, what do you think about what you just watched? Make sure to drop your thoughts in the comments below, but also make sure to check out even more great content like this video and this video over here. And if you haven't subscribed to the Brandon Gonez Show, do so right now by clicking this button right here.